Gabby. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today, I want to talk about journaling. Journaling is something that's really helped me a lot in my life, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. There's no one perfect way, and I would like to talk about the different ways so that you can find something that works for you. The first thing I'm going to do is go over the different styles of journaling and ways that they can look, ways that you can use them, and then we'll talk about why it's so important to journal and what it has done for me in my life and what I think it can do for you in your life. So let's get started. I can't remember this many, so journaling, very useful. Different styles. Reflective journaling. So reflective journaling is, I think, what people think about the most as sort of the regular kind of journaling. It's what people think of when they talk about having a diary, where you write about your life and your experiences, what's happened to you. Reflective journaling can be really helpful to see patterns and things that are going on in your life and to be able to look back on where you've been and what you've done. As long as you write neat enough to actually be able to read it, I guess. I don't really, so I don't go back to pieces of writing in my journal very often. But I do a mixture of reflective and other kinds of journaling. So definitely a good option, but if that doesn't interest you or having a diary feels too girly or something, there's other styles. So we'll talk about those too. The next style of journaling is one I've talked about on my channel before, and it's stream of consciousness journaling. And this is where you just sit down and you write down anything that comes into your head. There's no goal of having it make sense. There's no grammar. There's no worries about punctuation or writing neatly. You are just writing everything that comes to mind, getting it out onto a piece of paper. I absolutely love stream of consciousness journaling when I am struggling or upset or have something going on and I'm not fully clear on what it is. Stream of consciousness journaling is really useful. It did take me a little while to be able to stream of conscious journal because I questioned myself a lot, what I was doing, why I was doing it, how I was doing it, and I really messed with the process. So it took me a while to be able to accept that I could just write whatever was in my head without analyzing it as I was going. And that can take some practice, but is very useful. And then you can look back on what you wrote or how you felt while you were writing it and get some insight into yourself. So always good. The next style I want to talk about is bullet journaling. This gained some popularity online. There's lots of bullet journaling channels, a few that I follow as well on YouTube. And it's been taken to a pretty far extreme. I feel like actual artists, sorry, weird things are falling in my apartment. Got scared. Okay. I feel like actual artists are often doing this, especially on YouTube. They're, drawing and everything is beautiful and there's this really cohesive theme and the specific colors that they use, and I'm here for it. Like, I like seeing it. I like the creativity of other people and watching what they can do. I also bullet journal, but not on that level at all. I would say that I bullet journal closer to the original style, although sometimes I will do pretty calendars or colorful themes or use stickers in my journal. And bullet journaling has been really helpful for me, especially with my ADHD, to keep track of my life. There's lots of different content around that. I can actually make content myself around that if you're interested, but there's lots of places to find information about bullet journaling. Another thing that can be helpful, but has an entry point and can be a little bit daunting to get into. So if it's something you're interested in, highly encourage it. Take it one step at a time. It doesn't have to look perfect or be beautiful or be super artistic and amazing. It just has to work for you. Bullet journaling can definitely be customized to exactly what you need it to be. So the next style of journaling is called junk journaling. And this is interesting. It's kind of a mixture of maybe like scrapbooking and art journals. And what you do is either it's all art where you take different pieces of things that you've collected or pieces of wrapping paper or things that you've drawn or stickers, and you put them together in the journal in any way that is pleasing to you. And it's a creative expression. You can also write in it, add things, draw things. So that can be a fun way of just having a piece of your own creativity on display, but just for you, where you can take just bits and bobs from your life and add them into a journal in a way that just feels fun and releases some energy or anxiety. Lots of people find them very relaxing. I haven't personally done this, but I like to watch other people do it, and I think it's really pretty. So another option. That leads into art journaling, which if you watch any artists and their channels, they will often talk about this as a way to boost creativity and get out of slumps. And basically what you do is you will draw different pictures of either things that you're seeing or that you want to depict. And you can also write at the same time. In my journal, I would say I'm probably mostly a reflective, like diary journaler, but I do stream of consciousness journaling in there too. I do channeling journaling in there. I also occasionally do art journaling, where if I'm somewhere and I'm feeling creative or inspired, I will draw pictures in my journal and then write around it. And it's really fun to look back and see just what you were doing and what interested you. And it's just for you, so it doesn't have to be good. Art is subjective also, so what is good art? I don't really know, but it doesn't have to be something that you're going to display. It's just for you, and it can be really fun to look back and see your journey, your progression, or just stuff that you thought was interesting that you drew. And if you're not creative at all, it can still be funny because you'll just be like, what was that? But you can write about what you were trying to draw. And it's just another method to release some energy, some creativity, and document who you are right now and what you got going on. So that's always fun. This brings me to another one that I think is amazing and super helpful, and this is gratitude journaling. Gratitude journaling can be a specific journal that you just write out gratitude lists in every day or every week, or it can be added to other journals that you have or other things that you're doing, your planner. It can be written on a whiteboard on the fridge. Gratitude journaling has been shown by science to have a ton of amazing benefits, and recently I heard that the best way to counteract stress is with gratitude. And that's amazing, because aren't we all way too stressed at all times? So bringing in a gratitude practice into your life in whatever way that you can, even if that's just sitting down for a minute when you wake up every morning or before you go to bed and thinking about one thing that you were grateful for that day, or writing in your journal 10 things that you're grateful for on the weekdays when you have to go to work and you're struggling with stress. It can be a really profound experience. Gratitude is incredible, and it can be really interesting to see the things that you come up with and the ways that you can challenge yourself. If you try to write 10 things every day and not use the same things, you really start to have to reach for things that you're grateful for. And sometimes the results are hilarious. And it can be really fun to share with people the things that you're grateful for. I think that's a beautiful practice and can be a really nice way to connect with others and be a positive influence on others, but also just on yourself, your own mindset. So highly recommend gratitude journaling. The next one is food journaling. There's different ways to do this. Some people just are foodies. They want to talk about the restaurants that they went to. They want to put in little menus or draw pictures of food. Food journaling can also be documenting the food that you're eating in a very general bullet point kind of way, and then documenting how you feel. I do think that food is a huge issue for health, especially in the United States, but really everywhere, that food is readily available and processed food is readily available. Lots of allergies are coming out. Lots of people have issues with different foods. And if you are tracking how you feel after you eat different things, it can be really interesting to see what things are affecting you and your mental state and your emotional state and your physical state, and start to get a picture for yourself if you have any issues with food. So if that's something that you're interested in and the other kinds of journaling sound boring, maybe this is the one that you pick, and get a better sense of what things support you and make you feel nourished, what things do not, and whether or not you're eating emotionally. I did not think I was an emotional eater until I realized that when I'm feeling bad for myself, I definitely pick up junk food, Cheez-Its or snacky things, because it makes me feel better, even though physically it doesn't make me feel good. And that can tend to cycle into more negative feelings, feeling worse about myself, feeling worse in my body. So recognizing that I was emotionally eating was kind of a big deal. I still do it sometimes. We're human, nobody's perfect. But it's definitely been better, and I wouldn't have been aware if I hadn't been able to look at my food and see the things that I was choosing. So food journaling is another option. The last one I want to talk about is dream journaling. The basic idea is that when you wake up right away, you have a journal and a pen right next to your bed and you just jot down your dreams. And it can be a way to help you remember your dreams, because if you wake up and you write them down, it trains your brain to remember them. And so you'll have a better memory for your dreams if that's something that you're interested in. It can also just be fun to look back and see what you dreamed on different days, or if you're dreaming at all. My partner says that he doesn't dream, but I remember him waking up and telling me about dreams that he has sometimes. So I'm like, you do dream. So dream journaling might be useful for him if he cared and he wanted to remember his dreams. And maybe you don't, but it is another fun way to build a habit and get a little bit more insight into yourself and what's going on in your subconscious mind. So that could be a good choice if you're interested in that. And those are, I'm sure there's others, but the main styles of journaling that I know of and that I found online and that I think are interesting to talk about. So now I want to talk about why you should journal. Well, firstly, I want to say, if you are interested in journaling and you were inspired by one of these or multiple of these, if you're like me and you have lots of things that interest you, I would say just pick one to start with. If you already have a habit of journaling in a certain way and you want to pick something new, that's totally fine. But I tend to be like, ooh, I totally want a food journal and stream of consciousness journal and reflective journal and art journal, and I overwhelm myself. So highly suggest just picking one and trying it out for a month. Sounds like a long time to me. But if you can build a habit or recognize that you're not interested in building that habit, then you can move on to something else. So I would say pick the one that interests you the most, or that you think you get the most benefit out of, or that sounds the most fun. Not everything has to be about getting a benefit or improving yourself in some way. So why should you journal? I have a little list in my notebook here. Clean your inner landscape, create creative expression, beat perfectionism, get to know yourself, recognize your patterns and heal, practice being your own best friend. Have fun. So I think there's lots of reasons to journal. For me, I think the biggest reason that I journal is to get things that are bouncing around in my head onto a piece of paper and out of my head. Helps me to be a lot calmer and more centered, which I don't spend a lot of time in that place and I would love to. So journaling is super helpful for regulation for me. Emotional and physical, like calming down the energy that is in my body. I'm a little hyped up today. Maybe I should journal before I started filming this. As a side note, I feel like I've been a little depressive. I don't want to say depressed because that's like a medical condition and that's not what I think I'm struggling with, but still injured. And I feel like my last couple of posts, the videos since the injury, which has been all of them actually, it's been hard to be my normal self. I feel like I'm usually pretty upbeat and silly and excited about things, and I'd like to show more of that side of my personality on my channel, so let's look forward to that. I also like to talk about serious, emotional, deep things that people struggle with, because that's what I find interesting or worthwhile, stuff that I really want to help people with. So I don't know, I'm not sure how it'll be, but here we are, trying things out, experimenting. So you can let me know if you enjoyed this chattier, sillier version of me, or if actually I'm just exactly the same and I think I'm different in the other videos and I'm actually not. I don't know. Anyway, focused heavy. Okay. So why I think we should journal. I think that one of the biggest things we are put on this earth to do is to learn about ourselves. And while that might sound selfish, there's really nobody else you will ever know as well as yourself. And that person, the person that you are, is the only one that's really going to be with you your whole life. So dig deep. Get to know who you are. Your quirks, your faults, your best qualities. Have a clear picture of who you are and what you want. And that's something that's been really hard for me, to figure out what I wanted and who I really was. done a lot of masking in my life, a lot of performative, being whoever I thought people wanted me to be or needed me to be. And journaling has been a big part of my experience of coming back to myself and figuring out who I really am and what's important to me and what I want to do. And I think that that has been some of the most transformative work I've ever done. That's helped me in my relationships with other people, because when I have a better relationship with myself, I'm less reactive, I'm less easily triggered, I don't make things that other people are doing be about me. And that is huge for calm and supportive relationships. I don't get into fights with people the way that I used to, because I don't misunderstand the things that they're doing, even if they hurt me or feel like they're directed at me. I know that they're not really. Everybody that's reacting is reacting out of something that's inside of themselves. And just as I am less reactive now because of journaling and other work that I've done, I think other people would be less reactive with the same kind of inner work. And having a more peaceful world, a gentler, kinder place to live and way of interacting with others, there's really no bigger goal for me than that. I really can't think of many things that are more important to me than having connected, loving, peaceful relationships. That's not to say there can never be any conflict. We grow a lot from conflict, but I don't think that conflict has to be violent or scary or loud. I think that we can have conflict in ways that are still supportive of each other. And that's really the big goal for me, and maybe for you too. So I think journaling can be a really important step on that path of reacting more from that calm-centered place than from a reactive, charged, maybe hurt inner child kind of place. And it can change one day at a time. So I hope you take a step in that direction, or continue taking steps, because I'm sure you've taken some. So I would love to hear if any of these piqued your interest. So drop me a comment and let me know which style of journaling you'd like to try or have tried that you liked or didn't like. I'm always so curious about what people are doing and if you like the same things that I like. So let me know. And thanks for being here. I really appreciate it, especially watching to the end. That really helps small channels grow. And I'm definitely a small channel right now. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, for engaging in some way, clicking the like button or subscribing or leaving me a comment. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. I'm Tabby. I hope you have a lovely day, a lovely week, a lovely life. And I'll see you next time. Bye.